Look,
Okay.
Elon and I know each other a little bit, but
Yeah.
Elon is actually a great example of an American entrepreneur who's
Yeah.
built a company, but also a company that's employed a lot of good American workers. If you think about, Elon Musk is in some ways a throwback to an older generation of American entrepreneur. He
Yeah.
builds real things. He builds cars. He builds rockets,
Rockets.
and that's I think the kind of economy that President Trump wants to create.
Welcome to Electrified. It's your host, Dylan Loomis. So, last week we covered the Cybertruck sales throughout the year from that Cox data, but here it's framed a bit differently. Here are the numbers for EV pickup registrations for May. Cybertruck 3,900, F-150 Lightning 2,300, Rivian's R1T 1,200, and then Chevy's Silverado EV with 668 and the GMC Hummer with 359. Zooming out a bit though and looking at January through May, the F-150 Lightning still has the lead at 13,400 with the Cybertruck behind it at 7,900. And the Rivian R1T is at 3,900 and all of this data is US only. By the way, going forward I have decided just to round certain numbers up or down where it makes sense, so wanted to make that clear. And for the month of May, the Cybertruck was the 5th best-selling EV in the country. It's true, there's a lot of pent-up demand, but the F-150 Lightning starts at $57,000 with the Cybertruck starting at $100,000 for now. An analyst at S&P had this to say about the Cybertruck: "I just don't see how it becomes anything approaching a mainstream vehicle given its design. However, Elon is so visionary, he's so out in front of everyone else, and he's succeeded. That's why I'm not going to dismiss it completely. Frankly, if it was from another company, I would dismiss it." After that, I'd like to be on record saying that for the next 2 to 3 years at least, I think Cybertruck sales are going to surprise a lot of people, even some Tesla fans. A Reddit user shared he got a text from Tesla saying that the new aero covers for the Cybertruck are finally ready. Right now, some people are reporting that they have to go to a service center to grab them and have them installed. Others are saying that they're starting to ship them out. Sawyer shared this image for comparison. You can see with the new caps, each of the spokes is roughly a half an inch shorter than the prior version, so that wheel rub should be gone. The Cybertruck program manager Siddhant Awasthi replied to Sawyer saying that the Cybertruck light bar will soon be available for Foundation Series Cyberbeast customers. They'll get it first. Apparently everyone at Tesla loves the word soon, so hopefully sometime this summer. As you can see in this Cyberbeast order configuration, the off-road light bar was indeed included. The light bar was not included for the dual motor all-wheel drive variant, so once the Cyberbeast customers are satisfied, then I would imagine dual motor customers will have the option to buy it. Also for Cybertruck owners, under additional vehicle info, garage door opener is now showing up as not installed, so maybe HomeLink coming to the Cybertruck in the future. Elon shared a picture of him standing by the Cybertruck saying, "The Cybertruck has a sloped roof, just saying." The wait time for all variants of the Model 3 in China is now bumped back to 3 to 5 weeks from 2 to 4 previously. But just earlier this month, it was actually 1 to 4 weeks. All trims of the Model Y are unchanged at 1 to 3 weeks. There was a Chinese financial outlet reporting that Giga Shanghai's factory was operating at full capacity. They said the high number of robotic arms brings Giga Shanghai to 95% fully automated production, which we knew, and they said the automation rate of Tesla's welding workshop is close to 100%. Tesla China's VP Tao Lin said Giga Shanghai will maintain the current production and is very confident in the Chinese market. We'll find out early in August if that report is true, because to date, Giga Shanghai certainly has not been operating at full capacity. We know that it has the ability to produce over 90,000 units in 1 month. And for all of Q2, it was only producing between 60 and 70,000. Looking at the year-to-date number for production from Giga Shanghai, it's currently down 8.8%. But earlier this year, there were reports that production was going to be slowed from March through June, so maybe that slowdown has been lifted, and we'll find out soon enough. We heard about this partnership at CES earlier this year, and now it's official. Samsung has launched an energy management service for Tesla EVs in the US. Not just EVs though, synced with the Tesla app's Powerwall Storm Watch function, the AI-powered SmartThings connectivity platform alerts users on their connected TVs and mobile devices in case of extreme weather conditions like hurricanes or heavy snowfall. The collaboration focuses on integrating Samsung's SmartThings energy with Tesla's energy product lineup, including the Powerwall, solar inverter, wall connector, and EVs. Samsung does have plans to expand the service outside the US in the future. Here's a look at the Tesla Semi progress out in Giga, Nevada, and this is from Heinrich Zane. In this one, you can actually see some people walking around by this white truck, again, to give you a sense of the scale. Tesla Manufacturing shared a 3-minute video talking about the new forest that they are planting and building that will be twice the size of the forest that they had to cut down for Giga Berlin. This one will be an actual forest with a mixture of trees, shrubs, and different species of plants. Here they said almost 450 soccer fields have been afforested, which just means converting land into a forest. In the video, they said a special machine was developed to actually plant that many trees. MIO is a German abbreviation for million, so 1 million trees planted in 2024 alone. Personally, I think Tesla should play this video on a big screen for all of the people camping in that fake forest outside of Giga Berlin that are protesting Berlin's expansion. Just to get a feel for what Wall Street is thinking ahead of Tesla's Q2 financials, we have Barclays increasing their Tesla stock price target to $225. But they have a bearish tone. It was roughly a $40 price target bump, but they're expecting auto gross margins of 16%. But this is why you have to be careful with what you read, because then they said with a 40 basis point quarter-over-quarter decline. So the number they were actually talking about was auto gross margin X credits, because that was 16.4% in Q1. And they actually said something I shared earlier this year. Tesla has faced uncertainty from an investment thesis pivot. Shifting focus from vehicle manufacturing to autonomy and AI introduces significant unpredictability. While we appreciate the potentially disruptive opportunity from these businesses, we believe they cast uncertainty on the path ahead for Tesla. But even if the market reacts negatively to Q2, it may be short-lived thanks to the enthusiasm for those autonomy and AI efforts. But the main reason I wanted to share all of that, they concluded this complicated balance keeps us on the sidelines. There are some headlines out there about Cathie Wood saying Tesla stock could 10x thanks to robotaxis. This was on Bloomberg's Tiger Money podcast, and much of what she said we have heard before, but she said if we're right, Tesla stock has miles to go. She said that's what we think people are missing, the size of the opportunity, how quickly it's going to scale, and how profitable it's going to be, adding she expects Tesla to lead the US market. They also talked about investors piling into the Mag 6, to which Cathie said investors' risk appetite will broaden to other stocks with disruptive tech as interest rates fall. Now would be the wrong time to sell our strategy. We believe interest rates are going to come down and going to come down more dramatically than most people think. Elon said the XHQ will move to Austin, also leaving California. He said, I've had enough of dodging gangs of violent drug addicts just to get in and out of the building. And how about this reaction from California State Senator Scott Weiner? Quote, posting Elon about moving SpaceX out of California, he said, California literally made you with taxpayer subsidies. And because it's the best place around, will this be a fake temper tantrum move just like Tesla's fake move to Texas? My guess is that Scott is referring to Tesla maintaining an engineering HQ in California and of course with Fremont, but it wouldn't make sense to move the entire Fremont factory. And just so you guys know, no part of me enjoys talking about drama like this, but I think it's important to share because of course when it comes to policies in the future and Tesla and Elon decisions, this stuff does actually matter. On X, Elon said, with a different spelling, Weiner is corrupt to the core of his soul. Then Gavin Newsom dug up an old post from Donald Trump when he said, Elon came to the White House asking me for help on all of his many subsidized projects, whether it's EVs that don't drive long enough, driverless cars that crash, or rocket ships to nowhere, without which subsidies he'd be worthless, and telling me how he was a big Trump fan and Republican, I could have said drop to your knees and beg, and he would have done it. With that post, Gavin said you bent the knee. To which Elon said you never get off your knees. At this point, there's one word I think all Americans need to keep at the forefront of their mind going forward, and that's going to be forgiveness, which is never popular. But on that point, Teslaconomics said at least the next president, if it's Trump, will have a positive relationship with Elon and allow him to build great products in tech that'll make America great again. To which Elon said it will work out well. Despite everything that's happened in the past with Elon and Trump, at least right now, they seem to be on good terms. We got a camouflaged sighting of Ferrari's first EV. It's set to debut in 2025 and go on sale in 2026, but for now, we really don't know anything about this vehicle, other than it plans to have some fake ice noises. Hundreds of scientists did sign a pledge to protest Toyota promoting hydrogen at the Olympics this year, but it sounds like that was to no avail, as more than 1,000 Mirai hydrogen-powered vehicles will be in the streets of Paris, with 500 designated as part of the official Paris 2024 fleet. Toyota has been one of the bigger sponsors at the Olympics now for almost a decade, but this may be their last year doing so. They said whoever the next Olympic sponsor may be, it's bound to be a massive worldwide company that can afford to spend a lot of money. So my question for you would be, would you like to see Tesla become the sponsor of the Olympics going forward? On X, Elon said a CO2 tax properly applied would change the tragedy of the commons, that is the steadily rising CO2 parts per million level. If we're going to tax anything, then we should prioritize taxing the potentially bad over the potentially good. I disagree with those who view the climate risk as catastrophic in the 5 to 10 year range, but the long-term risk is very real, even if one simply considers quality of life at a given CO2 level. The indoor CO2 ppm level is significantly above the outdoor average. This means 800 ppm for around 400 ppm ambient. Above 1000 ppm, people are noticeably negatively affected. Above 2000 ppm, it gets really painful. Mercedes has partnered with Starbucks to deploy its fast charging stations at more than 100 locations across the US. The first phase will have 400 kilowatt EV chargers at Starbucks stores along I-5, a West Coast travel corridor spanning from Canada to Mexico. Since its launch, the Mercedes network has opened a dozen locations across Texas, Alabama, Georgia, Florida, South Carolina, Tennessee, and Kentucky. There are plans for the network to expand to nearly half of the states in the country over the next 12 to 18 months. Mercedes did say that its network will have both CCS and NACS plugs. Tesla Scope said we can now safely consider FSD 12.4.3 as paused or awaiting a new revision, as the average wait time between deployments has now passed. As I mentioned yesterday, there's at least a chance that its version 12.5 is the one that goes to a wide release, so we keep waiting. The other day, an Ioniq 5 and an EV6 were spotted at a Tesla supercharger in Michigan in camouflage, and based on this image, they were testing a native NACS port because it was charging without an adapter. It checks out because Kia has said the EV6 will have NACS natively as soon as late 2024 for the US market and early 2025 for Canada. Tesla stock closed the day at $248.50, down 3.14%, while the Nasdaq was down 2.77%. It was a normal volume day for Tesla, trading about 9 million shares above the average volume the past 30 days. Bar chart said for the first time after Tesla IPO'd, it traded green for 14 of the last 15 days. But that's not true. If you go back to early 2023, you'll see this streak right here where Tesla had 14 out of 15 days in the green. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. Please like the video if you did. You can find me on X linked below, and a huge thank you to all of my Patreon supporters.